we want you to be open to saying it, okay? All right? All right, so our first question, y'all, is about Unc and Auntie culture. So I want somebody to tell me, how did Unc or Auntie culture shaping your life? Like, how did it help you having a good uncle, or even if you had a bad uncle or a good auntie or a bad auntie?
I had a few uncles and aunties who was very active in my life. I feel like now, today, aunties and uncles are not as active.
For sure, I disagree.
Speak on that.
My sisters and my brothers, they are very active in my kids' lives. Same thing with my nieces. If I need somebody to watch them, they're the first person that I call. They are there for every birthday, every recital, every tournament. They pour into them as well. And I just think that that was the standard that was set in my family, because that's how my aunties and uncles were for me growing up. And so it's just, we just kind of take that as each one teach one. And it's been very impactful, because I have an older daughter, she's 12, and there's certain things where I can talk to her about that, we can relate. But then there's other things where it's just like, hey sis, I need you to go talk to your niece. You know what I mean? Like, she just got, she got introduced to womanhood, if you know what I mean. And I was like, where's this attitude coming from? Like, what's happening? Like, I can't handle it. And so I tapped my sister in, and they did a whole thing, like gave her, the ins and outs of it. And even though we were prepared for it beforehand, it was good for her to have like a full ladies' day and having all the women in our family like pour into her and kind of let her know what that whole experience was going to be like. So that's my example of like auntie and uncle culture is very, very real these days.
Can I ask you, are you the oldest or youngest or middle? You're the oldest? And so your younger siblings are really involved with your... I love that for you.
Well, not just like for you, but just in general. Do you think it's like generational though? Because like how old, like what's the age difference between like you and your younger sibling? Like is it a big gap or is it?
There is. So me and my brother are 5 years apart, but me and my sister are 13 years apart.
Yeah.
So that's,
yeah. And that's where I was going with it, because I think it's generational. Because I mean, I'm 36, so the way I was raised is completely different than the way, someone in their 20s, 25, 24, 26 was raised. So sometimes I wonder, like, when it comes to, like, the uncle and the auntie culture, does it have to do with the generations, like, how you were raised and the gaps in between the ones who aren't stepping up to the ones that, like, are stepping up? Do you know what I'm saying?
That makes sense. Well, that's why I asked him if he was the oldest or youngest, because I feel like if they were, it would make more sense to me if they were older, because the way I want to step in when I'm an auntie, it would make more sense to me. But to his point, I mean, his younger siblings are stepping in, so maybe that's more of a question for him.
Well, I mean, that's my cousin, so they're closer in age than what your siblings are. Same with me. So like, I'm the oldest of 6 on my mom's side, right? So I have a brother who's right under me. We're all 2 years apart. But it's funny because I feel like I'm more active in my siblings who do have children in life, than there are with my kids. But it also, for me, I feel like it's also the dynamic of I'm the big brother. And so like I've always set the standard. So that's just part of me setting the standard for them as well. Some of my siblings, they're just not social individuals. And then further down the line, it goes the more distance in age that we are, the more or the less involved they are. So like when she asked that question, I was like, okay, I can even see that, because like my baby brother Elijah, he's 25, I'm 36. You know what I'm saying? So like we grew up in 2 totally different eras. Like when he was coming up, they was already out here in Texas, and so like a lot of the aunties and uncles who were actively involved in my life were so far away they couldn't be as actively involved in their life. So that wasn't a thing for them. You know what I mean? So.
So my sisters are, I got 2 older sisters. I'm the baby. My sisters are 10 and 12 years older than me. But like my nephews, like I'm super active. Like Keith to tell you, like one of my nephews, like I had my son early. So one of my nephews is like 2 years older than my son. He 22, my son 20. And then I have a daughter that's 21 too. So like they all kind of like in the same range. But like I'm real active. When my sister had her first son, I was 10. But like my sister was in college, so like I used to be babysitting all the time. Like I grew up really raising kids. You know what I'm saying? So like I was real close. But me and my sisters are real like close knit. So even still, like I got a nephew that's at Prairie View. When he have any type of problems, he finna call. Like, I need to holler you. Like, I need to talk to you. Like we like that. So I can't say that like the age gap is really. I mean, I can't tell you what it depends on either. I just know like it didn't play a role with me because like I'm just like my nephews is like my sons to me. So
So just trying to figure out how to show up, but then even to where aunties and uncles for my sons look different because we're in Texas and our whole family's in California. Mm-hmm. My kids know aunties and uncles as Markeith, my friends.
Right.
Like my siblings, they doing their thing. They grown, they're older. And so it's a very interesting field to navigate. But I think what's most important is that like you live in the culture of an auntie or an uncle can just be the people who show up and support you. Like it's fine. Like it doesn't have to be like a true sibling. If it is, that's really truly a blessing. But if it isn't, as long as there are other people who align with your ideals of parenthood, then that's what's of most importance. And we just kind of make the best out of it.
Because I don't have anything that deep. I was just going to say, I don't. I was like, Because for me, I have, my brother and I were raised in the same home. And then I have an older sister, 7 years older. My brother and I are 2 years apart. And so I've been an auntie technically since I was 10 also. But she was 3 hours away. She was also a young mom. So I just like being called auntie, but I didn't see them. So I wasn't active until my brother really started having his children 4 years ago. And then I've been a very active auntie. I love that. That's my favorite thing. I'm auntie to, like you said, Markeith and Desiree's kids, to my friends' kids. And so I don't think I was a great auntie or active. My sister and I didn't really communicate that much back then, being raised in different homes. And so most of my aunts, too, were family friends. My mom wasn't close to her siblings. So, like, when it comes to my mom's side, the people we call auntie or uncle are, like, best friends. And then my dad's side has a huge group. The question I wanted to ask is, bringing it back, what's the difference that you guys are seeing between the aunties and uncles you guys had and how we're showing up now? Because I do feel like I'm really active, and I try to go to everything that I can. And so where are you guys talking about like it's different now?
So, ironically, what I was going to say touches on that, in that I'm 30 years into the unk game. Like my oldest nephew is 32 years old. Yeah, my oldest nephew. Right. 32 years old, right? Right. So, no, there's no problem with that because it's interesting hearing these stories because there's some like similarities. I'm gonna make some assumptions here. Age gap probably also mean different parentals, right? So that's a challenge in this whole situation about bringing family together because there's like multiple levels, right? I come from a family of 4 siblings, me being the youngest, and all of my aunts and uncles literally live probably within a 5-mile radius. Mm-hmm. I hear a lot of transports, mm-hmm. right? Meaning I'm hours, and so I think we start living differently, mm-hmm. right? Mm-hmm. Largely because degree, access to opportunity, and then some of that ended up in Dallas. Raise your hand if you're from Dallas. Right? It is a room full of imports. So being that it's a room full of imports, for you to have relationship with aunts and uncles, you also have to have proximity. Yep. Right? Mm-hmm. So that's the thing that I think is very much different just hearing all these stories is I was so close to my uncles and aunts. I would end up being at their house on a weekend by accident. Like I just happened to be on Friday, and next thing you know, I asked if I could stay the night, and then I asked if I could stay the night again on Saturday, and then I was there till 8 o'clock on Sunday. So all that time to build that relationship was present. But then I am the kid who graduated college and never went back home.
Yeah.
Right? And now, and when I moved to Dallas, one of my biggest efforts was to get my family close. So I didn't move my sisters in Austin, my brothers in Dallas, my other sisters in Dallas. My mother lives with me. So all of my immediate family, because the only way for me to replicate what I had was to have proximity, right?
Yeah.
And so I think of the way we live today, some of our success also becomes a shortcoming. Some of our success, our ability to move around the world, not be in close proximity to the people, and probably run away from some of the trauma shit that come along with being close to family, right? That I'm sure everybody in here got a story like, yeah, I'm glad I ain't got to deal with that part of us. But I think for us to have those gains, we kind of got to get back to staying in community, like being proactive and staying close to each other for us to have those familiar relationships. If they don't want that, and I don't, there's one of my sisters see my children when she want to, and no other time in between. They stay to themselves, and that's okay, right? They still Auntie. I mean, she just did a whole keratin treatment on the hair. I'm so glad, thank you God, because you know how much those things cost, and I got the discount, right? So she show up how she show up. My other siblings though are like, send me the YMCA side schedule for the flag football games, and I'm gonna be at every one of them. So I think we got to give some grace for people to do what they got to do. But if you truly want that, if you truly want what we used to have back then, we got to start making more calculated decisions about where we going after we've achieved success.
One quick note.